Hello, and welcome to Draw With Me. I'm Danny Gregory. That was Twiglet, our new pug puppy. She is 9 weeks old today. Is it 9 weeks? Yes. And we had so many fantastic drawings that were done last week of her. And if you'd like to share the drawings that you do this week and have them possibly included in the beginning of next week's episode, then please, there it is. Hashtag SBS Draw With Me. Post it, share it, and we all want to see what you've done. It's so exciting to see all the different interpretations that different artists make of the same subject, don't you think? I just love seeing all those drawings of Twiglet. And, she is an interesting subject. I'm still figuring out how to draw her as well. When I had my long-haired dachshunds, Tim and Joe, Dachshund's an easy dog to draw. I first drew wiener dogs when I was about 4, I think. It's a big long thing with a long snout and a tail. Pugs are, I don't know, it's like a ball the size of an orange with wrinkles on it. It's interesting. So she has went to the vet for the first time, weighs 4 pounds, is in perfect condition. Since then, she's probably put on another half a pound, all teeth, a half a pound of teeth, razor sharp teeth, like 6 rows of teeth, like a barracuda or a great white shark. And my hands are covered with scars and blood. But such is the price of being a master. No, of having a mistress. No, of having a dog. She's a lot of fun and is a very good dog. Really good. Puppies can be a complete pain in the ass, but she's not. She's almost entirely housebroken. She's basically sleeps through the night, and she's lots of fun and is hilarious. So I'm really happy to have that. So, what should we talk about today? Well, I do want to say one thing about an event later on today, which I've mentioned to you before, but I'm going to bring it up again, which is, oh, there it is. Wrong camera, though. Q and Art. So Q and Art, you have questions, we have answers. I have questions, actually. It's really my questions that we're going to be dealing with in Q and Art Live later today. It's all about paper. And we have 3 amazing paper experts. If you would like to sign up, I imagine that Alexis, yes, there it is. Alexis, maybe you could drop it into the chat what the deets are about how to sign up. But they're also in the description below on YouTube and probably in Facebook as well. But we'll put them into the comments here in a second. But basically go to sketchbookschool.com, go to workshops, and you'll see it there, okay? So what it is I've gathered 3 amazing experts, and they're going to be helping me to learn about paper. There's so much to learn about paper. It's just something we take for granted. It's a piece of paper, It's like, here it is. No, that's not good enough. Paper isn't just the background that you make art on. It is a key component. It affects how you use your media, how your pens respond, how your watercolors work. It's really important. What's going to happen to your drawing over time? Is it going to disintegrate, fall apart? What does it feel like? What's it feel like under your pen? All those are things that are mystifying when you go into the art supply store and there's just shelves and shelves of paper and sketchbooks, and a lot of the sketchbooks are shrink wrapped and they have labels on them that say incomprehensible things. What is the weight of, what is 120 grams, 130 grams? What does that mean? How do you consider it? What is cold press? What is hot press? What is rough paper? All these things. What is rag? What is it all, and why do I need to know about it? Well, you're going to learn all you need to know, and you will be a way smarter artist for it. Okay, so I have Joe, who is an expert from Hanamula, the oldest paper mill in Europe. I have David, who wrote a book on how art supplies work and the mysteries behind all of them. He was also the group publisher for the Artist Magazine, Watercolor Magazine, Pastel Magazine, and he is himself an amazing watercolorist. And then I have Michael, who worked at a major American museum and was in charge of restoration and knows all there is to know about art materials as well. He's been a consultant to lots of art supply manufacturers. He's also an artist. So really, really smart people. And a ticket is $10. Why is it $10? Why isn't it free, you say? Because you're clinging on to your last $10 bill and you don't want to give it up. No, it's $10 because the money that we raise is going to go to support Chelsea's charity, which I've talked about before. It's a charity that was started by a girl who's now 11. She started when she was 10 to give art supplies to needy people, needy children. Children in homeless shelters, children who need art in their life. $10. Fork it over, get a ticket. You have until 5 p.m. Eastern. So you've got, after this ends, you've got 4 hours to sign up. Just sign up. Just sign up. Can't make it? Just sign up and give $10 to Chelsea's charity. All right? I know you like free things on YouTube. I know. It's free. What could be better? This could be better because this is good and you're going to learn stuff that's going to rock your world. It's going to change how you make art. Isn't that why you're here? So get off your duff, get over there, sign up for it, and let's move on. All right. Kosha. Hi, Kosha. Nice to see you. As Kosha mentions, we had a great interview. Alexis interviewed Chelsea on Instagram. It was really charming. I mean, this girl is unbelievable, so articulate. And I just love the fact that she's doing something. It's 2 p.m. PST. No, doors close at 2 p.m. PST. It is 5 p.m. PST when the event happens. So you have until 5 p.m. Eastern to sign up. Then you're out of luck. And you get free watercolor samples. Everybody who comes, Hanamula is going to send you free watercolor paper. So there, that in and of itself is incentive enough, right? Okay. Mary Beth, I'm not talking about it. I'm not asking about internal sizing. Come to the damn event and ask it yourself. Ask yourself. I'm not doing any more work for you. I'll see you there. The event is at 5 p.m. Pacific. Yes. All right. That's enough about that. It's going to be great. Will there be a recording as the time won't work for me? I don't know. I don't think so. It's $10. Show up and see it. I don't know. There might be. We'll figure it out. Just buy a ticket and we'll let you know if there's a recording later on. Okay? I don't know. Morgan, is there one? I'm not sure. So, okay. All right. Yes. Thank you. I agree. I didn't mean to be rude, Mary Beth. I'm feeling feisty. I've had a couple of cups of tea. I've been wrestling with a small animal. I'm ready to go. All right. Here we go. What are we going to talk about today? What are we going to draw? You're here to draw, right? With me. So here's what I'm thinking. I had this idea and I thought, do you remember a while ago we drew an Egon Schiele drawing upside down? And I thought that was a lot of fun. And then I thought, maybe we could do that already. Helene already got her free paper. Come on. Well worth it, right? It just showed up. It's already there. Amazing. So I thought, okay, would it be fun to do another kind of rendering or reinterpretation of a well-known piece of art? And I thought, okay, P. Shorten, you will find out what the paper is like when you get your sample. Don't hem and haw. Don't say, well, is the paper going to be any good? No, $10. Chelsea's charity. Learn all about all kinds of stuff. Okay. Where was I? So yes, so then I thought, let's try something else and different. So I thought, what about this? Right? It's iconic, right? We all know what this is. It's iconic. No, actually, first I thought about this. I thought of this. I was thinking, when it comes to selfies, maybe we should approach doing a Van Gogh selfie. But maybe we will in the future. But for now, I'm thinking there's something intriguing to me about this. So, do you know what this is? This is, of course, Van Gogh's bedroom at Arles. So he painted this. Really, I think it's to me, it's a really great little painting because it's kind of personal, but it's also, you know, it's charming. It is it is sort of simple, but it's so iconic. Um, and when Van Gogh painted this, he had this idea. I'll pretend that you don't know much about Van Gogh. So he had this idea that uh, he could start what he was calling a studio of the South, and all these painters could come and live there and work there, and it would be really great. And that would be his sort of this like mecca that he created to gather all these other artists there. So he rented this little house, and he kind of convinced Gauguin, after much discussion, to come down and have a look at you know what it would be like to work down there with him. And he painted this. He kind of dressed up this whole place. He made it nice. He furnished it, and he made this painting, which he sent to his brother, of his bedroom, which I think is so sweet. And it's it's such a nice gentle painting as well, right? Because it's this room where you sleep, and that is part of its charm. It's calm. It's gentle. It's a sweet little place. And a lot of it is also about color. I mean, the colors are so great in here. All these complementary colors, oranges and the blues, the red of the bedspread, the green window frames, the green lines in the floor. I mean, it's beautiful. It's colorful, and it's also, it's connected also to his interest in Japanese prints. Gauguin. I mean, Gauguin, I think, had maybe sparked this in him, but it was a trendy thing in those days. These Japanese prints that were first arriving to Paris around that time, and they were very influential. And so you can see he's drawn like a lot of sort of heavyish outlines, and there's also no shading, no shadows, no cast shadows. It is very flat in its way. It's really the color that makes it so exciting. So I was looking around and I thought, let me see like what else there is out there about this. Examples of how people have interpreted this. There's a lot of this out there on the internet. So a lot of people have actually built this room. They've made three-dimensional kind of interpretations of the room, which is kind of interesting. Like this one is all painted. You see the walls are painted as if Van Gogh had actually painted the painting of them. This is a little bit more depressing. This is quite sweet. I think this is actually digital. It's actually created on the computer. It's actually a three-dimensional model. And so is this. This feels even more like it. Look at those pillows. I mean, I doubt that he had sort of little satin pillows, but yeah. And then you have a little miniature. How sweet is that? That would be fun to make a little perfect. I love miniature little rooms like this. Really, really sweet. Then This is a bit cheesier. Kind of looks like IKEA, the IKEA version of it. And look at that floor. It's now this kind of gives me the creeps. And then this is kind of sad. I'm not sure why this qualifies, but apparently it is considered part of it. This is sort of what it would look like now, I guess, if nobody had ever bothered to walk into it again. And then this is kind of cheesy. So Airbnb, you know Airbnb, they decided with their advertising agency that it would be really cute to make rooms that you could stay in that were evocative of these masterpieces. So they built, you could stay in Van Gogh's bedroom. And this is like some executives from the company and from the agency, you know, sitting in it. And, you know, so then you get a lot of like people taking selfies staying in Van Gogh's Airbnb room. Yeah. Okay. We don't want that. Roy Lichtenstein did his interpretation of it. It's interesting to see other artists, how they did it. This is sort of like a modern version, but also, of course, it's done in his iconic sort of comic book style. This artist, it's made like on almost three-dimensional. I think it's on a piece of wood, but still really cool. It's great to see something like this where people make it themselves, right? Well, then there's this, which is just kind of depressing. And then finally this. So anyway, lots of things that we can do with this. And but let's start by looking at the actual painting. So I think this will be fun to draw, and we'll draw a copy of it. So hopefully I'm going to probably start by working in line. But, you know, one of the things that I was thinking about as I looked at this was, you know, what are some of the ways of what are some of the problems that we might have with drawing this? And like one of the things is perspective. So I drew these perspective lines. I was like, okay, because you could easily get all wound up in the perspective, you know, that this bed is going back and that the walls are doing this and that. But, you know, the thing about this room is it's not really in perspective. And in fact, if you look at certain things, like if you look at that table in the corner, that's not in perspective. It's going completely the wrong way, right? It's not moving towards the vanishing point. It's going actually the opposite way. And, you know, or if you take this line, this is the line that's the back line of the room, and it really is not straight either. So, you know, if you look at what a straight line is, it's not straight. So let's not worry about that. Let's not worry about what is in perspective. It's really, the idea is it's home. It's calm. It's tranquil. It's joyful in some ways. It has a childlike quality to it. So let's not get hung up on how do we draw that bed exactly. I'll give you one suggestion that I might think about is I would just say, do that. So take it and cut it exactly in quarters. And that sort of helps you to say, okay, the bed, that top corner of the bed is right there in the middle of the image. And the wall joins the floor is more or less in the middle. Okay, so let's just bear those two things in mind and not worry too much about everything else. All right, shall we do it? All right, I'm ready. I think I'm ready with this micron, Pigma micron. Why? Normally I've been drawing with these Tombow Fudensukes, but I have to get a fresh one out of the box, and I didn't today, so I'll start with him. Okay, you're going to draw with me? You're going to join me in drawing this? I'm going to draw it in a square, because it's more or less a square. Oh, you know what? I actually printed this out. I want to grab that print. Yeah. So I have a print of it here. which I'm going to use so I can look at that rather than looking at the tiny image on my computer screen. I didn't give you a reference for this because honestly, it's pretty easy to Google. Just Google Van Gogh's bedroom and you'll get many images that you can use. So okay, I'm just thinking a minute. I'm thinking. Okay. I was thinking kind of about the shape of it because when I look at it, it's sort of like that tall. So I want to I think it would be helpful if I got my rectangle more or less right. So basically it's one, I would call it, what, 5:4 maybe? Something like that. Doesn't really matter exactly. But when I draw my thing, I want to sort of make sure that I'm in the ballpark. Sort of in the ballpark there. It's a large ballpark, uninhabited. But yeah, that's sort of it. Good enough. Good enough. Okay, so now I'm not going to go crazy with this, but I do want to sort of think about where the midpoint is. So it's kind of there, and it's sort of there. All right. So remember when I showed you those things before? It's that. That's what we're looking at. Do you want me to leave this up there, or do you want to watch me draw? You know what? Get your own picture and draw your own damn line, bisecting it, okay? So let's do it. I see that the comments have died down, which is to me very exciting. It's kind of like when I don't hear my dog whining in the background because she is happy and she is resting. So I know that you guys are busy drawing. So I've already forgotten some of the observations that I made, but I'll figure it out. I'm making this kind of small, which may come back to haunt me, but it's the ghost of the past. It's fine. So yes, I'm gonna place this bed first, just because it's kind of a big object, and it'll be helpful to know where it's going to sit. Everything else can kind of relate to it. There we go. I'll try to make this a bit brighter. Okay. What I also think is fun about drawing this, I've already screwed it up. Okay, what I think is fun about drawing this is that it has all these little kind of details in it, which are sort of cool. You know, you can draw all the paintings on the wall. You can draw all the objects on the table. There's just a lot of little details to draw, you see. And again, we're really trying to do our interpretation of this thing. Because we want to make this personal to us, not just Van Gogh. We don't want to we're not art forgers here. That's not the point. So, and we're also going to do this relatively quickly. So, and we can also do it again. Interesting thing about this painting is Van Gogh apparently painted it multiple times. Like I think he did. I think he painted it 3 different times, and he made a copy for his mother, as one should. I think it was probably like the equivalent of like sending, like a photo of, hey, here's my new digs. Aren't they nice? See, I made it, Mom. I actually have a bedroom. That was quite an accomplishment for him in those days. See, here's the thing. It's like when they made those little fake room versions of this, they put Starry Night above his bed, and he actually has this little landscape of a tree. So, what's the point? What's the point of trying to make a reproduction of a room and then screwing something like that up? That's pretty fundamental. Or they couldn't figure out what that painting was, or maybe they said, "Oh, people love Starry Night, so let's just put that there." I can imagine the meeting at the ad agency about that. They're too easy of a target. I won't make fun of ad people. All right, let's get those windows in there quickly. Somebody asked me yesterday whether I had seen this animated movie it's called Becoming Vincent or something like that. I don't know if you've seen that. I was so excited with that when I saw the trailer for that movie. It's an animated movie, and it's all hand painted, oil paintings. They got like thousands of Eastern European artists. Why Eastern European? I don't know. Maybe there's just like a lot of available good painters over there. I don't know. But they got a bunch of these painters, and they filmed the entire thing, and then they got all these artists to paint it. And they put a huge amount of effort into it. I mean, thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of paintings that were made. And when I saw the trailer for that, I thought, oh my God, am I dreaming? Is it possible that this thing exists? It seems so incredible. So amazing. Painted painted in the style of Vincent van Gogh, a movie about Vincent Gogh. But then it turned out when the movie came out and I went to see it, it was not really about Vincent van Gogh. It was some conceit about some guy who was looking for Vincent van Gogh. I don't even know what it was. It was an incomprehensible mess. So even though the idea of it was really cool, I mean, the ambition was cool. I thought the movie itself was unbearable. I'm kind of like that about Van Gogh, though. Feel very proprietary about him. So whenever somebody else does anything, even when a new book comes out about him, I'm like, ugh. So I got very bent out of shape when there was that book that came out, which I actually loved so much of. Um, the most recent biography of him that claimed that he hadn't shot himself but had been shot by some boys. Just not buying it. Not buying it. Seems completely implausible. It seemed sensationalist. It seemed like it was designed just to kind of get interest in the book. So you may be disagreeing violently with me in the comments. I'm not really reading now because I'm drawing this chair. But man, don't mess with my Vincent, please. As we all know, there's only one Vincent van Gogh, and his name is Kirk Douglas. I'm starting to experience the problem that happens when you draw your initial frame of your drawing wrong. So everything's getting a little wonkier than maybe I'd like it to, but it's okay. You'd be disappointed if I did a perfect drawing, I'm sure. I mean, you came for the mistakes. All right, I think I got all the bits in. What do you think? No, I didn't get the bedspread in. Now we could do the little drawings that sit inside, the paintings that sit inside here, little faces. I imagine somebody's identified what all these paintings were. Did I get all the bits? Yep, I think I did. I'm looking back and forth. I think I got all the details. There's something quite satisfying about not having to put in any shading that I like. All right, so I see people are now arguing and claiming that that this is a big conspiracy and a cover-up. I think we just live in an age of conspiracy and cover-up, and that's what's going on. But I don't know. I'm going to adhere. I'm going to be an originalist. And I'm going to say he killed himself. But here's a thing to think about. Say he didn't kill himself. And I don't mean say somebody else killed him. Say he didn't kill himself and he survived. He was what, 37, I think? In 1888? 1890? Whenever it was. He was in his 30s, late 30s. Now, how long did Monet live to be in his 90s, right? Picasso in his 90s. So imagine if Van Gogh had lived for another 50 years, 60 years, 50, let's say 50 years. He lived for another 50 years. That means he would have lived until World War II. You know, imagine that. Imagine what he would have done. Imagine if he had started to sell his paintings. I mean, he did sell, I think he sold one. I've heard varying things. Usually they say he didn't sell any, but then I've sort of vaguely heard that he did sell one once. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. But imagine if because he was recognized not long after he died, thanks to his sister-in-law, I think, was really responsible for a lot of that. So he became, he would have been an artist who could support himself, who, would have had resources, wouldn't have had to be quite so desperate. Who knows what that might have been like? Or would is the myth so important to him, Is that why we love Van Gogh? No, I don't think so. It's not why I love him. Ear severing and killing himself and all that. But let's say that wasn't what he was about. Janice asked if I've seen the Doctor Who episode of Vincent being brought back to the future to see his work in a museum. I did see it. It is very moving. It's very moving and worth watching, I agree. Although, it's always a little creepy when people play Van Gogh, I have to be honest with you, but that was fun. It's fun I like doing a little drawing like this, a little drawing with lots of details in it. It's something I need to do more of. And also, drawing with this Micron 03 is a really nice experience, particularly when you're not doing cross hatching. I mean, it is nice to do cross hatching with this pen, but there's something to me about this pen is like really reliable. Like it just delivers. It's never fading. It's never balking. It's a good pen. O2s are problematic. For some reason, the O2s have always just died out, conked out too early. I like O1s, but O3, I think that's like my line. When I get smaller, like the O05, then I'm getting into this kind of niggly, anal kind of phase where I'm just doing super endless cross hatching and I'm not flowing. Yes, Sakura Pigma Micron 03. So that's a good pen. I like it. I want to see what you do with this experience. What are you going to do with Van Gogh's bedroom? How are you going to interpret it? Are you going to paint it? As I said, Van Gogh saw this, although there is a linear quality to it because of this sort of Japanese print influence, he also was very much trying to make a statement in colors, which I'm not doing here. So I think color could be, I think you could do this whole thing without line and try just knocking out all the shapes and colors could be a really interesting exercise. So I'm going to probably try doing this again. And I'm definitely going to try doing it, adding color. But I need to be in a different, I need to not be on the internet right now doing that. Thanks for joining me. So listen, I hope I'm going to see you this afternoon or evening. Just to clarify, it's at 8 o'clock tonight, Eastern time. 8 o'clock. I'm sure you can figure out what time that is in your time zone, and that you have until 5 o'clock Eastern time to get your ticket. So just do it. Join me. And we can talk about why Micron pens are so great on so many different kinds of paper. Maybe we can talk about that tonight too with our experts. What else? If we're going to continue drawing together next week, but if you're a member of Spark, which I've talked to you about before, Spark, my favorite new thing, we have the Draw With Me after party, which is going to go on. It's going to start in 20 minutes, where we're going to continue drawing for another hour or so on Zoom. Keep doing this. Keep working on this Van Gogh business. I'm going to do more Van Gogh stuff. Do you like that idea? Do you like the idea of working with other artists' work? I'm never quite sure about that. Sometimes I like it. I think it's important to not be slavish about your reproduction of it, but instead to really try and channel what you're feeling about the image. And there's always so much fun stuff to do in there. So, all right, guys, thank you very much for joining me. Be safe. For God's sake, don't get this virus, right? I need you around. I need you to keep drawing with me. Stay inside and just draw. That would be good. That would be safe. And yeah, I'll see you at 8 p.m. Eastern with my friends. Bye. See you later.